Signore e signori, buongiorno.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Vicenza Oro September 2021. I am Marco Carnello, Director of the Jewellery and Fashion I.G.I, and on behalf of I.G.I, I would like to thank you all for being here in Vicenza. Thank you very much also to all those who are connected with us on our channels. This is a very special moment. Vicenza Oro is opening up after 21 months. So you can very well imagine how these halls used to look in the past few months. They are glittering and shining with you right now, and we're all very glad about that. This was not an easy decision, you know. We had to find courage, the courage of the organizers, but the courage of the more than 800 exhibitors represented here today, 70% Italian and 30% foreigner. But courage is rooted in responsibility, the responsibility that the fair like Vicenza Oro has towards an industry that Fiera Vicenza Oro is supporting continually. So we plucked up courage because we have a responsibility, the responsibility to restart our industry. And it is not just the responsibility of restarting with fairs, but it is the responsibility and accountability of fairs like ours. Organizing a fair for commercial and business purposes, but also to debate the so-called hot topics. All those issues that need to be tackled, and they need to be tackled here because this is the place, the platform where all actors and professionals of this industry can meet and exchange ideas. And today we're going to talk a particularly hot topic, and we will do this with our community, which is the third fundamental pillar of this Vicenza Oro. Vicenza Oro is here to support the large community of jewelry. And it is a very inclusive community. It is not just the exhibitors and the visitors, but it is also research institutes, scientific centers, and Stephen will present them all, but we got here the Italian Gemmological Institute. We have Dr. Cavalieri and CIBJO representing companies all around the world. An association like this one has many different viewpoints. And then we've got also stores with Andrea who will show and present the perspective of those who take care of distribution. And finally, Laura will help us understand consumers. Consumers interacting on the different channels. What do consumers ask for? I mean, something like this can only take place in Vicenza Oro because Vicenza Oro is here to support the development of our industry. So thank you very much once again for being here today. Thank you, Stephen and Federpreziosi, for your contribution to support our industry, to develop fairness towards the consumer, and enjoy the show. Thank you very much, Marco, for these wonderful words. And thank you very much to all your staff, to the organization that has given us this opportunity. And the result is right here in front of us, a very interested audience. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to I.G.I, and thank you very much to all of you. Well, as I was walking through the fair today, I picked up a ring with diamonds. And I started looking at them and I thought, oh my God, how many beautiful diamonds. But what is a diamond really? What does it represent? Culture, history, originality. It represents a lot. And it is a promise also. So a diamond has many, many histories. Maybe here amongst you there's a couple who decided to declare their love through a diamond. But what about the diamond? A natural or a synthetic diamond? That's a dilemma today, and it is like being at the bar on a Monday morning and we start talking about our favorite team and what has happened during the weekend, during the football match. We've done this for natural and synthetic diamonds. How often? was I sitting around a table with different associations, and we started talking about synthetic and natural diamonds as if we were supporting one team versus the other. But after all, the bull is always there, right in the center. There are more and more supporters, but at a given point it is necessary to see this carbon, which is the #1 component of diamonds. Well, has it been produced by Mother Earth in millions of years? And has this got the same value of a lab-grown diamond? In ecological terms, we may prefer not to think about the mines ruining our planet, and we prefer an ecological factory producing diamonds. I mean, we're going to talk about all this today with our speakers, who are people that give us the opportunity to analyze the different features of both natural and synthetic diamonds, the value of natural and synthetic diamonds, without demonizing any of them, but by simply analyzing their characteristics and their possible impact on the market. This morning, I have learned that the sales of diamonds has increased after the lockdown. Well, I would like to know if you agree with this, but anyway, the person who told me this belongs to an institute, an agency that has always been dealing with natural diamonds. But what does the market think of this? Does the market know the differences between the synthetic and the natural diamond? Is the market able to grab the opportunity and the history of the natural diamond, or perhaps the emotions of a synthetic diamond or a natural diamond? Laura Ranghirani, together with the Gemmologico Italian Institute, has carried out a specific research work on a niche of our population, millennials and X generation, those born between 1980 up to present time. So 40 years old, making up an important part of the market. Actually, do they know the difference between synthetic and natural diamonds? I've seen your research work with the title Natural Diamond versus Synthetic Diamonds. So you have also put the ball right in the middle, and you have decided to play this match, for sure, with the best football players. But which is the result? What have you obtained? Would you like to tell us about that?
Well, it's a pleasure to be at Vicenza Oro. It's an honor to be part in this talk. As you said, Stephen, together with the Istituto Italiano Gemmologico, we carried out a survey to analyze the perception of new generations about natural and synthetic diamonds. Well, there is an important introduction to make. This is a qualitative-based survey, so take it as an indicator of the things and challenges that we will have to face today and in the future. But do not take it as a quantitative analysis. We interviewed a sample of 220 young people from 14 to 31 years of age. That was 90% of the sample, and 70% are Italian. They all study either marketing or design or others. And the first thing that we asked them was about sustainability and what they feel about sustainability. Almost all the interviewed told us that this is an issue that they care about, but then we asked them if these issue can be applied to diamonds, but that went down to 10%. So only 10% of young people feel that these issues are decisive. So we raised the question about the reason of this answer, and we saw that 90% of the interviewed say that they do not have many information about diamonds and issues related to sustainability about diamonds. So the first comment to make is that we need to continue to inform new generations about this issue. And then when we asked what are the most important factors when they buy a jewel, well, most of them say that design remains the most important factor. But then I would like to focus your attention on the origin of stones, because when they interviewed know the diamond very well and all the issues about ethics and sustainability, well, the origin of stones becomes a very important factor when buying a jewel, while those who do not know about these issues say that the origin of stone is not so important. And then the level of information about these issues could actually influence the buying characteristics and the buying variables. And then we asked them what diamonds they prefer, either natural or synthetic. Well, 60% of the sample said that they prefer natural diamonds, 5% synthetic diamonds. Together with Istituto Gemmologico Italiano, we focus on the 35% of people who do not care, who are indifferent to the issue. And those who say that they are very well informed about the issue, 10%, split up between natural diamonds and synthetic diamonds. So perhaps we could carry out further studies and further investigations on a wider sample of people. So they prefer the natural diamond because it is related to nature. 55% of the sample answer or give this answer. And then authenticity, the rare characteristics, and then 30% say that it is more sustainable. So these are some comments and final considerations about the results of this survey. And we see that this survey highlights that young people are not very well informed about the issues related to sustainability and ethics of diamonds. Young people believe that design is the first factor in the buying of a jewel, and the origin of the stone is more or less relevant depending on the level of information about these issues. We could say and infer that it is the lack of knowledge which does not allow young people to perceive sustainability as a determining factor, because those who know the issue believe that it is a relevant factor. And then natural diamonds are preferred because of the perceived characteristics which seem to be perceived as non-reproducible in a lab. So in conclusion, I believe that it is necessary to continue to inform, educate, and raise the awareness of new generations about diamonds and the issues related to sustainability and ethics in order to provide young generations with the necessary instruments to choose between natural and synthetic diamonds, or both of them, in a way which is based on awareness, as CIBJO and Istituto Gemmologico Italiano are doing. Thank you.
L'ultima slide, no? Occorre informare, educare, sensibilizzare, che sono i tre fattori che dobbiamo tenere ben presente nel futuro, no?
That we need to have always in mind in the future. So we have the president of CIBJO here with us, the World Jewelry Organization, the planetary jewelry organization. So what did CIBJO do, President Cavalieri, regarding this topic? I know that you have worked very hard involving the most important stakeholders in this industry in order to define guidelines. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here to be a member of this panel debate. The theme, the topic of synthetic and natural diamonds is an old one from my viewpoint. And I would like to start by saying that already back in 2004, Genesis, based in Florida, was taken to court in Germany, in Munich, because of a misleading advertisement. The Court of Justice in Munich issued the verdict stating that that advertisement was not adequately informing the final consumer, and this company was therefore obliged at that time to pay 250,000 euro in fine, and was warned that if they had continued with their advertising, heavier measures, criminal sentences, in other words, would have been issued. And that was the year 2004. So already back at that time, this was a hot topic. Things have evolved, and our stance is actually a very simple one. We are not against synthetic or against natural diamonds. We support both natural and synthetic diamonds because they're both products that can be launched on the market. They both have a place on the market, a different one, and they're both legitimate. And in a second, I will talk about business opportunities. I mean, legitimacy and therefore business opportunities are based on transparency. The final consumer has the right to be informed in order to make his or her choice. In the past few years, we have been working together with all these stakeholders, i.e., people involved with natural and with laboratory-grown diamonds. So natural diamonds extracted in the mines and laboratory-grown diamonds. So diamonds that were created or even grown in a lab. It is clear that to finalize adequate information, the working group that was set up as CIBJO several years ago has produced this document. The laboratory-grown diamond guidelines, which you can download freely, like all our documents, from our website. Since we believe that information is fundamental so that consumers and the whole value chain can be adequately informed. Let's now talk about the business opportunity. Business opportunities are strictly linked to the honesty and transparency of all the links in the value chain and in the business chain. There is a lot of talk about sustainability. I've heard many different things that are written, reported, and it is not my task to make any comments about the existing literature. However, I am deeply convinced of the fact that transparency towards customers is a way to guarantee the customer as well as the whole industry. Consumers have the right to know exactly how, where, and when the different processing phases are undertaken. So if we talk about a synthetic product, in other words, a lab-grown diamond, it is obvious that this does not compare with a natural diamond that needs that has a totally different development story. To manage a factory of lab-grown diamonds, in these labs you have machines, and it takes only 4 people. I mean, the largest factory producing synthetic diamonds has a staff of 4. So when I hear that lab-grown diamonds are ethical, well, since I've always been focusing on ethical issues and sustainability issues at the United Nations, well, I didn't really understand what they actually mean, the real meaning of ethical in this context, with the exception of sorry, I can't find the right word, but what I mean to say is that this sounds very much like marketing to me. And it is a little bit of a far-fetched marketing catchphrase. Communication has played a very important role also in many other fields. I'm sure you remember the Baccaglio system and the sale of diamonds that soared based on a very fascinating communication. So we could make this comparison. Anyhow, this is not the place to go ahead along this line, but perhaps this comparison is quite representative. Yes, this is quite representative, but let's separate finances from mining and from the production of lab-grown diamonds, even though I perfectly understand what you mean to say. Anyhow, I would like to focus the attention of our audience on the fact that there is a difference, and it is an evident one. Number one, the cost. A lab-grown diamond has a cost of approximately $300 per carat. The natural diamond, with characteristics which theoretically can be similar, has a cost of $5,000 per carat. So if I buy a lab-grown diamond, as an investment, well, there's a big question mark. If there is a market to sell it again, how much is it worth? And how much is a natural diamond worth? When evaluations are made, I mean, these must have an economic repercussion as well. So the economic evaluation shows that I can create a system through which lab-grown diamonds can have their market, and it is correct that they have a market. But, of course, you cannot put natural and synthetic diamonds on the same plane as far as their economic value is concerned. But they're both markets that are launched on the very same, they're both products that are launched on this very same market. But the final consumer must be properly informed. And I would like to conclude with a personal remark. There's too much confusion. I see too much confusion. Consumers are not sufficiently informed. And sometimes they are directed towards incomplete information. I'm not saying incorrect, I'm saying incomplete information, because the information is not incorrect, but it is incomplete. So a more exhaustive and complete information would be of help, because in that case, retailers and the distribution system could be able to inform their consumers in the best way. Because after all, in the Italian system, where unlike other systems like in China or the United States or other countries where detail takes on different forms. I mean, we have associates who have 6,000 stores. But the Italian system, conversely, is characterized by small store owners. So detailers have a direct responsibilities because they are known by their customers. It is a very personal relationship, and if something is wrong, I go to my friend who sold me that piece of jewelry, and I say, why did you sell that to me and not that? What did you inform it in this way and not in that other way? So this is just to say that correct advertising and correct communication information are fundamental. Thank you very much, President. You have very elegantly reported about this issue. But I've known you for some dozens of years now, and I know that your target is that of creating clarity and transparency. Talking about education, I would like to thank the Italian Gemmological Institute that for years and years has really done a lot. Together with Loredana Prosperi, we have tried to provide first-hand information. Loredana is a member of the commissions of gemmological centers internationally and nationally, and this is why she's here today. I would like to thank Vice President Mrs. Sangalli, coordinating the Diamond Commission that was set up a few years ago during a meeting that was held by Federpreziosi in Udine. So thank you very much for getting Loredana involved in the writing of a brochure that will be distributed to your colleagues, Andrea, and to the market at large. I know that your association in Lombardy, but also other associations, have printed several copies that have been distributed, maybe also while selling a different product, not necessarily a diamond, but they have been distributed to the customers as well. So the initiative that Federpreziosi has launched aims at communicating and educating the final consumer. Together with Loredana, we have also organized meetings for the general public to try and do what Laura was suggesting, to get to the heart of the problem. Would you like to tell us more about this study that has involved Federpreziosi, Borsa del Levante in Italy, and the Italian Association of Gemmologists? So this is the who's who of the national gemmological experts.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, it's been a cooperative work, both in terms of institutions and also in terms of geography, because we go from Lombardy to Sicily. So it's been a very wide-ranging work. And the main idea was that of providing information without criticizing one thing and praising the other, but simply saying how things actually are. So let's have a look. So here we see the people who have collaborated. So it's a scientific text, but the idea is that of having a teaching purpose. So it is made for retailers because generally we realized that retailers, jewelry retailers, when asked by clients about this topic, are actually confused. They are a bit confused about what is synthetic and what is not. Also perhaps confused by the information or lack of information that you find find in newspapers or papers or magazines. So our idea was that of providing a very simple instruments, just 10 pages, including pictures, because let's be honest, if we had made a 40-page leaflet, it wouldn't have been so much appreciated. So we designed a text including science, including jewellery, and including also a retail perspective. And the idea is that if you want to give it to your customer who asks for information, you can certainly give it to your customers. So we didn't take any specific stance about synthetic or natural diamonds. So we just gave information about what is synthetic and what is natural. Because when you see advertising information saying that synthetic is natural, but it has been grown in the laboratory, so it is not synthetic, but it is natural, well, we do not understand what that means. So just imagine what a customer can think about that. So you find very much confusing information about that. You find also the word cultivated, grown, but to cultivate a pearl has a meaning, but to cultivate a diamond has no meaning at all. You don't put a diamond in the water and then it grows. So we were very, very accurate saying the synthetic diamond is an industry-based product. It has its value. It is sustainable in terms of money. If you look at the basic cost, which is 300 euros per carat. So perhaps an accessible collection which can help retailers sell accessible jewels. And the same applied to other stones in the past. For example, zirconium cubic stones in the past follow the same process. But if you sell a synthetic diamond, you must be aware that that is synthetic. Well, natural diamonds are a completely different story, and I will not tell you about because you are very well informed about that. And what is important for us is to demonstrate that whatever is defined ethic and environmental, well, it's something that I cannot decide. I cannot say I make ethic diamonds. No, we need someone outside the business who states that you have environmental friendly procedures or ethic approaches. Well, I tend to be very direct. Normally, synthetic diamonds are created in the East and in China, who are not world famous for being environmental friendly. So synthetic diamonds, okay, but let's not say that it is environmental friendly. It's an industrial product with its own value. And then the fact that environmental friendliness is fashionable, well, that is incomplete information, as dear Gaetano said in a very diplomatic way. Because to say that it is environmental friendly simply because I didn't make any hole in the ground, well, it's not very correct. Because what I say is a natural product more natural or more environmental friendly than a synthetic product. So we that same thing as with leather. We speak about eco leather, but to say that it is ecological, to say that it is environmental friendly, but it is not. It is plastic. So this leaflet is available to everybody because honestly, apart from jokes, the text is agile. smart, and it helps us answer the questions of customers, because very often customers want to have information, and it's sometimes difficult to give the appropriate answers. You can download from the site for free. You can download it and keep it in your shop. And we, as Associazione Orafa Lombarda, have printed these leaflets because we have retailers who say, I would like to have 100 copies so that I give them to our customers, to my customers. So the more widespread it is, and the more the more information we give. We're not saying that is right, that is wrong. Everybody can make their own choices. What we want to do is to give the appropriate and right information so that people can make knowledge-based choices. Thank you, Andrea. We are the front office of the sector. We have to be able to tell things, that famous storytelling that we often mention. That's also very important. So we have to do that with passion and emotions. And Loredana will certainly tell us with passion about the activities of Istituto Gemmologico Italiano and what diamonds represent. Well, I've been knowing Loredana for many years, and let's not say the number of years. I don't want to say that. But you've always been very accurate in describing the peculiarities of this market. You've always gone forward, made progress, and participated in many meetings and commissions, because Istituto Gemmologico Italiano is an institute managed by operators, by practitioners. So you also belong to a unique commission set up to create rules and regulations or standards. We often speak about UNI standard, but then we do not find it in the current legislation. And I know that lately a standard has been published, which has to do with synthetic diamonds. So what are the characteristics of this standard?
Exactly. So I'm going to talk to you about the UNI standard. The UNI is the Italian unifying standard agency. So these standards for gemology are very important. But don't forget that standards are not law, but they can be the basis for future laws. So back in 2004, when CIBJO was already debating about synthetic diamonds, in Italy we were talking about a law on gemmological materials that had the task to rule the market. But we have never managed to get this law approved. However, serious actors in the field try to comply with UNI standards. And I've listed here the existing ones. The first one was actually about diamonds: terminology, classifications, features, and tests, or analysis methods. The second one is cut classification, and the third one refers to gemmological material and nomenclature. Theoretically, the law should have referred to these rules, to these standards. But when standards are developed, of course, they can also become old, because maybe some things change on the market with new treatments, new cuts, new parameters. Therefore, standards have to be continually updated. The diamond standard, UNI 9758, was published for the first time in 1991. There was a revision in 2003 and one in 2021. So we can say that these standards are state-of-the-art. But the problem is how many actors in the field have got the standard in their office to make sure that they use the correct terminology. I mean, standards are used in labs for analysis, but everybody working in the field should know them. In 2021, to be able to participate in the writing of these standards, you have to be a member of UNI. And in the past, this was open to everybody. But the big problem in 2021 was that the members of UNI are only gemmological labs. And this is a pity because you never have a direct comparison with those who actually sell the material. I mean, I have a partial view of diamonds compared to a retailer. I mean, I try to put myself in their shoes, but we need their contribution. So the number one thing we need to do is to make sure that the different stakeholders take part in the writing of these standards. In 2021, the Commission also thought about synthetic diamonds. Why? Because synthetic diamonds are a product that is sold, that is certified with a document of gemmological analysis which is identical to the one of natural diamonds. Of course, it has the definition synthetic or lab-grown diamond, but then characteristics, colors, everything is identical. So this artificial product that is produced in a lab is compared in terms of quality to a natural diamond. I was totally against this. I didn't want a standard for synthetic diamonds because I thought, well, if we have a standard for synthetic diamond, we should have a standard for every synthetic gemstone. However, the market is now producing this material, and this material is certified, and the gemmological analysis certificates have an identical content to those of natural diamonds. I was the only one to vote against this, but of course, being a democracy, the decision was made to include the synthetic diamond standard. So the standard was written. The Italian Gemmological Institute is also part of all the commissions of CIBJO. Therefore, I knew all what had been done in terms of guidelines and standards. And therefore, I immediately tried to take their suggestions and include them in the standard for synthetic diamonds in Italy. And don't forget the following. When you talk about diamonds without saying natural or synthetic, when you just talk about diamonds, that means it is a natural diamond you're talking about. So synthetic diamonds must always be referred to as synthetic diamonds. Lab-grown diamonds are synthetic diamonds, and they must be called by their name. This is the number one thing emerging from our standard. And then, of course, this cannot be referred to as diamond full stop. It must be referred to as synthetic diamond. We do not want the term lab-grown diamonds. We accept the translation of the term in the description of the diamond. But when in Italy we think about a lab, you actually think about the doctors or the gem lab. In America, a laboratory is also a workshop. It is a factory. It is a company producing this material. So let's be careful with the term, because in Italian, lab has a different meaning. And we don't want anybody to think that we produce synthetic diamonds in our gemmological labs. Abbreviations have never been accepted. So lab-grown, lab-created, these terms are not accepted. You have to call it synthetic diamond or possibly laboratory-grown diamond or laboratory-created diamond. So the terminology issue is very well clarified in the UNI standard on synthetic diamonds. And this was published on the 5th of August, 2021. So the standard is now available on the UNI website. You have to pay 75 euros plus VAT to download the standard. So when UNI disseminate standards, they always ask for money for that. That's their process. So to avoid confusion, we have also tried to do the following. Here at the fair, you'll find many certified synthetic diamonds with characteristics, color, and so on and so forth. Following CIBJO's recommendations, when talking about the features of the diamond, we always put the acronym DS, that stands for synthetic diamond. So DSE, DSH. Because we believe that the market is asking for this, because also those retailers, those consumers who want a synthetic diamond, they want to know about the features, the quality. Personally, I mean, what quality are we talking about? It is a synthetic diamond. It's not a matter of quality. I cannot compare, again, a synthetic diamond with something natural, made by nature. And it took so many years to nature to produce it. It was so hard. And also prove an identical quality, a DEF. It's not so easy, to find that level of quality. Synthetic diamonds can more easily provide the quality because of the improved technology, of the advanced production techniques, and the quality of the product is better. I mean, just have a look at the evolution of computers and mobile phones. The same has happened with synthetic diamonds. The better the technology, the better the final product. But I cannot compare today's mobile phone with talking face-to-face to a person. So we have accepted this for synthetic diamonds. There's quality classification. But do not forget that in Italy, if you follow the standards, which is not law, as I told you before, those gemmological labs that will opt for the analysis of synthetic diamonds will always have to put DS in front of every other description. And the cover must be completely different. The cover of the document must be visually completely different from that of the natural diamond. These are just details of the standard, so you can see the different possible evaluations. So when we say let's not demonize synthetic diamonds, I mean, synthetic diamonds are fascinating, but they're fascinating as an artificial product. I love the idea that technology manages to produce something that looks like natural diamonds. But I'm also fascinated by synthetic rubies, by man ingenuity. I mean, Stephen, you know me well enough. I don't like to present writings in my PowerPoint presentation. So I would like to show you the two largest diamonds that have ever been produced with the two methods that are used to produce synthetic diamonds. HPHT is one of these methods. So this diamond that you see here has a weight of 15.32 carats. I have not written the acronym DS because I've taken the classification of the Gemmological analysis document. And here you can see something very interesting. This diamond has been classified by the GIA laboratory as I1H. In Italy we use PK, they use I1H. So the GIA has decided that they're not going to issue a paper document for synthetic diamonds. It would be only a digital online document. And this is very interesting, I believe. So we might decide to follow them. This could be a shortcut, so to say. Okay, I give you a document, I give you the quality of that given diamond, but this will be digital only. Then this is another laboratory in Antwerp, and the same gemstone was classified as I.G.I. So the very same problems that we have with natural diamonds, that is a discrepancy regarding the grade and the internal features, can also be found in synthetic diamonds. And this diamond has lost the value that you can see here. But at that time, it was the largest diamond that had ever been produced, and it was on eBay for $225,000 because they compared it to a natural diamond. So let's say it was 50% cheaper, maybe, but in a comparison with a natural diamond, I mean, producing this size is certainly expensive. But if 1 carat has the cost of $300, this could be sold for $1,000, $5,000, but certainly not $225,000. So you really have to be very, very careful, because there are attempts at speculating on this material. CVD is the less expensive technique to produce synthetic diamonds, and with this technique, I mean, we heard of this back in 2004, but the real turn happened in 2014 regarding sizes. So in the last 6 or 7 years, companies have been producing larger and larger synthetic diamonds, and in 2015, we've seen diamonds of 3 carats, in 2018 between 6 and 9 carats. And today we have reached, with this technology, approximately 12.75 carats. So maybe in the future we will have a copy of Cullinan, a synthetic diamond, to reproduce the original one. And just like all the previous speakers told us, information comes first. Education comes first. Personal education and training and information, so that we are able to communicate this to the final consumer. And we need to join our forces, because the final consumer has to be informed and updated on everything without hiding anything, so that the consumer can have the critical judgment and decide what they want to buy and if they want to buy it.
So thank you so much for this important information. We're almost late, so I'd like to make a question to Laura, who has a lot of followers, and perhaps apart from followers, you also have a fiancé who would like to marry you, and perhaps they come to you with a beautiful diamond ring. Is it better to receive a natural diamond or a synthetic diamond? Well, I made this question to you because you are a young woman. Well, I'm open both to synthetic diamonds and natural diamonds, provided that everything is transparent and the ethics and sustainability criteria are really respected. Otherwise, that fiancé would have no opportunities with me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.